Okay, we're here with MMA News Canada. I'm Brent Kirluk, and we're about to talk to Advin Omic. Alright, Advin, what do you know about your opponent, Andrew Buckland? You're going to be fighting him December 10th in PFC 6. And what do you know about him?
I know quite a bit about him. I watched him fight before I even started training, so he's been around the game for a long time. I have a couple sparring partners that have sparred and trained with him, so I kind of, from hearsay, I know quite a bit about him that way. So yeah, I know quite a bit about him, yeah.
Yeah, I've interviewed him earlier, and he said the same thing. Like, you guys both have similar, corners. Like, each, being that we're from Alberta, you can't really get away from other people. There's, they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, well, what do you have to say with his experience? He's on his 20th fight right now, and you're going on to your 8th. Are you worried about that, or do you feel that you match up well with that situation?
No, I'm definitely worried about that. He's got the experience in his corner. He's got almost three times as many fights as I do, right? So that's 3 times as many experiences in every situation, and he's had a lot of tough fights against a lot of tough guys. So it's definitely a thing in my mind, but that's what keeps me training really hard for it, right? If I can beat Andrew Buckland, then there's a lot of other guys I can beat, and the whole thing with what you just said about fighting guys in Alberta, I am really working hard towards a day where I don't have to fight anybody in Alberta anymore. I'd really like to go and train with Andrew Buckland after this fight. I'd really like to go down and train with the Gracie guys down at Gracie Valheim, Calgary, and I'd really like to go down that route and not have to fight anybody else from Alberta, but start fighting guys internationally. That's my goal.
Yeah, and there's good opportunity there because of Edmonton and the fight cards being around there, that they do bring in a lot of talent from other areas, so yeah. That's good, but it's definitely a good start doing that, and once you fight someone, you can always be their friend after and start training with them too, right? Which is kind of a nice thing in a lot of ways, because then you can find out what went wrong and work on what went well, right?
Yeah,
basically, right?
Exactly. I definitely agree with that.
Right on. Well, it's in a good position, what I feel, for this fight, because you're on a 5-fight winning streak, and Andrew Buckland's had kind of a little bit of trouble since Jordan Mean. He's had a loss, and then he had that draw and a couple more losses. So he's in a position of a win as well. Yeah. So I think that lines up pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the loss to McGilvery, that was when he got submitted there. That was I think a little mental error on his end, and I think it also had to do with the canvas. I heard that canvas was pretty sticky, so I don't give him much of a downer on that one. And that Ford Robertson guy, is that the last guy you lost to?
Yeah, that guy's at MFC.
That guy's a monster.
Yeah.
He's a monster wrestler, and if I fought him, I'd probably lose the exact same way. So I don't give him any less credit because of those 2 losses. So.
And not only that, though, I watched that fight at MFC 26, and he stayed right in there. He didn't really take a whole lot of damage, actually. He was on his back a lot of times, but he seemed to not take a lot of damage. But yeah,
that's the one thing with the experience too. That's going to be a really hard thing, is doing damage to him, because he's going to know how to move his body in order to not get hit by me, especially on the ground too. I watched his fight with McGilvery. I've watched it many times on the internet, and he really moves well on the ground and on his feet, and it's going to be a really tough challenge. So. Yeah.
Well, it's good to step up to the plate and do that, though, because it obviously makes you a better fighter, and you're able to rise to the occasion and see what happens on that fight, because anything could happen on that day, right? Regardless of what experience he has, and yeah,
that's the exact way I look at it too. It's a mixed martial arts fight. There's a lot of variables to it, and we can experiment as much as we can in the gym, but when it comes down to it, it's just him and I in there, and I guess our cornerman will be in there, but I know his cornerman pretty well, so I'll be able to listen to anything that he's trying to pull off, I think. And I guess he knows my cornerman pretty well too, so he'll probably be listening to my cornerman. We'll probably listen to each other's cornermen, so.
Yeah, that always happens. And it's funny with corners, when you're calling out things, sometimes it's not always the best thing, and you gotta sometimes maybe use a little code or whatnot. But
yeah, that's we were actually talking about that the other day. We should start using codes, definitely, because it's like when they say throw the two, and the guy's sitting there waiting for the left hook. It's kind of intimidating to throw, straight down the middle. You don't want to really do that and get caught with the left hook. So.
Or for sure, he's open for the take. takedown, use the takedown.
Yeah, and there's a knee.
Yeah, exactly. So potentially maybe like an overhand right and then go for a takedown instead is direct opposite of that.
69er, do a 69er.
Yeah.
Nobody will know what that
Everyone will just be confused. Right on. Awesome. And do you have any sponsors that you'd like to thank for?
As far as sponsors go, I'm always looking for new sponsors since I don't really have any. But the one guy I really want to thank is Tim Whitehead from Free Riders here in Red Deer. He's helped me out a lot with the last few fights, and he's really doing a lot for me. He's created a clothing brand for me. We're going to have some clothes ready for this fight, some signature t-shirts, and he's helped me out with a lot of things like that. I've also got a website going because of him, so it's bosnianbadboy.com.
Right on.
That's my first first revealing of that website, I guess. So there's a lot to come to that, but it's preliminary at this stage. So
awesome. That's a start, though. It's what it takes to get your name out there, and then the other doors will open, especially if fighting people like Andrew Buckland and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of marketing to do with it too. Like, that's what I'm finding out is there's these guys that really there's guys out there that really don't have the credentials as Andrew Buckland, let's say, but yet they're raking in all the sponsorship money. Like they're getting money in because they are able to market themselves, and so I really want to try to see if I can experiment with that avenue. So that's the next goal.
For sure. Sounds good. Well, I wish you best of luck for that fight, and kick his ass, I'd say, from our club. But Andrew, I have respect for him though. But we'll see what happens.
Right on.
Okay.
Thank you, Brent.
You bet. See ya.